prophecy, but I guess I have no soul, audience. Grandma says I have no soul. Why? Because my parody last night, I have been condemned to hell. And I apparently worship the book of the Bible of Hell that's in Constantine. Why don't you tell these poor fecals what I did to grandmother? I might have broke her.
It's
unintentionally. Unintentionally.
You pissed her off. That ain't breaking. I would rather her deal with a broken than freaking pissed off.
If any of you didn't see last night's video, which was I watched VHS. And there's a religious sacrament scene, so I got dressed up exactly like a priest as close as I could with the white collar and the black shirt and the red sash, and I grabbed my handy book of Revan.
Kyo, I think at this point Hell's just gonna be like, dude, we're making you a Korean throne. Just take it. You won't be tormented, but just take this.
Well, I didn't mean to piss off Grandma that bad, but oh man. Oh shit, even you know what's funny is even my character in Martyr likes to cut down religious zealots.
Yeah, I know, right? Lost G says hi.
Oh, hi Lost G. Is that on my end or your end?
It's on my end, but it comes from Hollow. Hollow said that.
Oh, Hollow, I'm on my end podcasting live. So yeah, you can comment on my end.
Wait, not power. Oh, artifacts. I gotta change the layout.
I can't believe grandmother. Why don't you tell these people on my end what your grandmother did after she saw her? You explained it to me gloriously.
She tried to bless the house because of you.
She had to bless the house.
Yeah, basically.
Because
I mean, I can't. I mean, I'm stunted right now. I'm like, Kyo, what did you do?
I mean, it's not like I went too over the top. Okay, maybe a little over the top.
Oh, great! It's a Batman v Superman parody coming up. First, let me
Are
test
you
my new
still level
abilities.
32? You threw out the Emperor's Groove. You have sentenced to death by the day. Look, beat. Listen, I haven't touched the game in a while, okay? I'll level up. You gonna play John? He's probably level 16.
No, I left off at 25.
Oh, so I have a higher level than he does, beat. So.
Yeah, but I'm on a different pedestal. Because I got Force Lightning in my game where I'm at.
Woo! Where I have to get up and close and personal with mine, but so she had to bless the house.
Yes.
And she apparently she thought I had the Book of Diablo in my hand.
She thought you had a Devil's Bible.
Those only exist in the Constantine verse. Remember the movie in the Constantine? They have Bibles in hell. Yes, they have Bibles in hell.
This ain't the Constantine verse. This is crazy Catholic lady verse. Okay, so damn, my
Demon
power
Kalaba? Okay. Ah! Fire!
John will be sentenced to worse. He's going to the Demon Kalaba. Come on. Well, you can't condemn the Emperor after he gives you promotions.
Well, I should be the first one condemned because I've impersonated a priest, and apparently I was even told in my
How many
comments.
times?
Well, that was the first time I actually managed to figure out how to actually look priestish. With the white, the black shirt, figured out how to find a way to put a white collar on, and I still can't find my Bible, so I can't go full tilt with Bible.
Gio, where's your soul?
Well, apparently Asian men have no soul according to Grandma.
Yeah, that's true.
Your grandmother said I have possessed...
But not all Asians are the same.
But doesn't she realize that the Chinese food she loves are made by, Korean people? You said so.
We're not gonna touch that.
So doesn't that like contradict her logic? Is that gonna make her not eat?
She's old. What you think? Contradiction is correctness to them.
You really broke.
I'm on Twitch right now on South Park. If you want some DC and Marvel ripoff parody.
I mean, it was. Oh man, I mean, I didn't think it was that over the top.
Oh, it's Stan. Tool shed. Let me close my curtain.
All I gotta say is, sorry, Grandma. Just don't stay in good health. I'll try not to impersonate priests from now on if it makes her that overly freaked out. Unless I have to play Outlast Whistleblower, then I really will have to do it because the simple fact. Are there religious skeleton in Whistleblower?
Yes, one, but he's a cannibal.
Oh, okay. Well then.
Basically, he says that the only way he's freeing you from the pains of the earth is by stripping you from your flesh to release your spirit, and by doing that, he must devour your flesh.
Oh, great! That would be perfect for the Revan thing. That's the last time I'll do a parody on Zealots. Okay, I don't want to have Grandma have a mental breakdown. I don't want that on my conscience. Although you should do it for your cat.
This is fucking Civil War Part 2.
What? They're having a fight in a parking lot?
No, we're fighting in a basketball court now.
Oh, I was about to say, if they're doing if they're gonna parody it and they have like a car parking lot, that'd be great.
That was the first one.
No, I meant since you're superheroes, you know.
No, I'm saying that was in the first fight. This account, so this is the second fight.
Oh, there's a part 2 of the Civil War. Nice.
Yeah, I'm in no direction to be able to hit somebody. I like how my farts can skip people's turns.
Did you know you've gotten rid of most prostitutes in that game, probably?
In what game?
Your game. How many prostitutes were you getting rid of last night?
Oh, a lot. The whole strip joint. Now I unlocked what looks like a fucking Iron Man unibeam. I wonder. The kid. Wait, what is he doing to them? Oh, he's mind controlling the fucking little kids. Because Jimmy is supposed to be Professor Xavier, the the cripple one that goes Timmy. Timmy's supposed to be Professor X.
Oh my god.
So he only speaks English in his mind, and whatever comes out of his mouth is Timmy. But Cartman doesn't say his words correctly. Cartman's like, "Oh my god, he just raped my mind, guys." And then he just starts a whole. It's obviously Cartman starts the whole freaking argument.
Because Cartman's an ass. Don't you remember the part where he wanted Kenny's PSP and they're having the battle in heaven?
In heaven.
And you just get commentary almost like the Star Lord parody from like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, this is more epic than the final battle in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah. And then he's like this, well, there was an Asian kid that unlocked a certain level. He's like, are you stupid, Uriel? Asians don't have souls. He's like, we need our Keanu Reeves, which is Kenny.
we have bestowed you the golden PSP.
I swear, if I die and they said, we need defenses, you mastered the battle for Middle Earth, now we need you to lead our forces, I'll be like, just sit me in front of the monitor and I'll call it a day.
No, no, here's what will make it more funnier. Is they go, look, see, we need your help, John, us, the higher being aliens, the four-level thinkers. So, in order to win this war, we're going to, we've created a simulation, so it's Battlefront 2. And we created this character that looks like Anakin, but he's you, and you can lead our armies. Can you do that? And all the other angels are like your high-level characters.
No, they're the 501st.
But you know what I mean.
wings.
They're like the whatever, the overpowered character he probably has.
Hollow said he'll be live later. He might.
Oh man.
Oh my god, this is actually difficult.
Like I've been focusing so hard, Hollow. I'm like, oh, you're gonna need to pop in on my side to answer some questions because like I'm only able to monitor one screen right now because I've got a headache to a degree.
On his other account, he said.
Yeah, well, hop on my screen on my end right here so I can read what he says because I'm not monitoring both screens right now. I'm monitoring one.
So it's called Raven Lover 56. Is it wait, is that a Twitch account or a YouTube account?
It's a YouTube account. I've been on it. I've guest hosted on it a few once, but if he could pop in my side on my YouTube account and answer a few questions, it'd be a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not full-time twitching just yet. That'd probably be weekends. But don't forget, I have been watching bad horror movies and I do a straight-up review right from what I think of them. VHS was disturbing with the ball rip-off scene.
Hold on a second, let me do that.
The madman Kyoma?
No, he's talking about me.
No, Beatmaster. Beat asked what was my Twitch name.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, I'll type it in Twitch right now, Beat. Wait, they mine white people here? Well, they're screwed.
It's okay, because it says he's only got 5 subs on there. Damn.
Huh?
Yeah, I got it. I put the sub mark for Hollow. No, I was looking like he only had. I don't know if that was the right one, but that's the only channel that YouTube brings up because I search engine it by narrowing it down so I don't get lost in finding shit.
Oh yeah, you'll get lost.
All right, now I'm beating up 4-year-olds now. Oh wait, they still gotta beat up. I still gotta take down Stan, cause Stan's fucking.
Found you, then followed you. Oops. Well, I guess I don't need to pull it up straight up right now. I have to go wipe some heretics off the face of the planet. I cannot believe she thought Book of Revan was a. So people are.
Bible.
Come on.
Because he says his hologram Tennu account is not available.
Yeah, well, Hollow, you're going to really need to well, whatever on YouTube, like, talk to me on this side so I can see you because I'm not looking at a Twitch screen. Oh,
damn!
Fuck.
Cartman just fucking flat out said, if it wasn't for Zack Snyder, the DCEO would be somewhere.
Oh, that is true.
No, actually not. It was in reverse. Cause Zack Snyder, I give him this. People are saying, oh, the DC universe is not as dark as Marvel. Yes, what the fuck it is!
I thought they meant wasn't for sex, as in, like, them sleeping with the cat and stuff. I was like, they do that?
Zack Snyder is actually... He knows what he's doing with the DCEU.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing with the continent. I'm just saying, I'm referring to, like, actors sleeping with each other. We wouldn't have DCU. That's why I was like, what? I was like, oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure someone would want to sleep with Chris Pratt. That's why. If there was that scene. But yeah, Zack Snyder knows what he's doing. He is a comic book geek.
But then they're saying, but it was funny how at first people blamed him for the universe, but then when what's next? But like Warner Brothers tried to step in and figure out what they were doing, they fucked it up even worse. Like now people, they're like, no, why did you guys get rid of Zack Snyder? Because They were like, because we were listening to you. That's a clear-cut case of the fans not knowing what the fuck they, you know, not knowing what's best for a franchise. Because for one, the DC, the freaking people at Warner Brothers make the directors contradict each other's films.
Yep. How many times have I said I would never listen to a fan unless I personally developed the game with the fan? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that fan, the only way I would listen to a fan would be not only because, like I said, if I was to make my own game, it would be, how would I have to say this? He would have had to build the game with me. And I would go, did you work on the code to the level that I'm to work on the Thunderhammer? Oh, yeah. Okay, so what do you think of this? Oh, okay. So that's bad. Okay, I can take that. You know what I mean? Or you personally, like a Patreon, paid for my game.
But I'm like, because I mean, when people, but then here's the funny part is, and it's more so it came from the, because I get it, Marvel did their universe first, but
that was
the stigma. Well, here's the thing, it's not just that it was literally a freaking shot in a bottle type, lightning in a fucking
lightning in a bottle.
Situation.
It was a lightning in a bottle situation.
They're trying to say fans try to say that, oh, it's like if other film universes do this, it's just a rip off of Marvel.
Okay.
How?
I'm gonna go on a film geek rant right now, John, and just shut down every one of those guys' fucking arguments. You know that the Iron Man that Robert Downey Jr. was not originally going to be Iron Man.
It was going to be Tom Cruise.
Yes, but the director went out of his way, Jon Favreau, I believe it's Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau, to go get Robert Downey Jr.
He said he went specifically out of his way and said, no, I want a person in real life who's been through the crap that Tony Stark has been. I'm not going to get in the crap that Robert Downey Jr. went through in his career during that time period, because holy fuck, that's a lot of crap. And so he personally reached out to Robert Downey Jr. at that time, who just got his life back on straight. And that was one thing. And then another thing was, the Easter egg with the Avengers thing was meant to be in there in case the film flopped. You know what I mean? It wasn't because they personally thought it was going to flop because...
Which one, the Hulk?
No, I'm referring to just Iron Man, because Iron Man is what started the whole thing. I'm rooting it back to Iron Man. Iron Man is...
Well, that and Hulk started in... That and Hulk were released the same year, but it's funny how...
Nobody remembers the Hulk, but everybody remembers Iron Man.
What the fuck apart? The Hulk was a good movie. The Incredible Hulk?
I'm just using the Iron Man because Iron Man actually is what started the whole thing, because the rights issue. What people don't know, they were trying to make an Iron Man movie back in the 90s when the bad Batman movies, the cheesy campy Batman movies were coming out. They were trying to make an Iron Man movie, that thing.
Who started the superhero renaissance with Spider-Man.
Yep, Sam Raimi kind of did. And here's the secondary thing that people don't understand about that, was when Iron Man also came out, guess what villain? They wanted to go what Sam Raimi did. They wanted to start really hard. Guess what villain they wanted to use?
The Mandarin first, because that was his nemesis.
He wanted to use the Mandalorian.
Or the Mandarin.
He wanted to use the Mandarin.
But you need to set, but that's a villain that needs...
Yeah,
he's making his first appearance now. They've explained.
But here's the thing. Let me just explain. Here's the thing. What the producer said, but he's like, Jon Favreau's like, I mean, no, I'm not gonna use Mandarin. But the guys are like, the suits are like, but he's got 10 rings. He's powerful. No, you don't get it. I want this to be grounded. We can't come with the Mandarin straight off the bat. Are you kidding me? That's not how narrative law works. He's like, I'm trying to build a lower grounded film, and that way people are believable. Because the most powerful thing in that movie was the missile that Tony Stark created. So when you really think of it, they weren't really... The power scaling was like very, 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 very low tier. It was like the first Iron Man suit. And the second... And so it's funny...
He says he's going to be... Hollow says he's going to be live.
Well, Paulo, you need to come to my channel, otherwise I explain the situation. Otherwise I'm not going to just go in there. I can't jump things when I'm in the middle of my own game.
I saw some of the videos. I'm subscribed to that channel that gets with the Warhammer, the channel you be linking us the video to. I subscribe to it so I can see whatever new on Warhammer pops up.
Yeah, I've got to subscribe to that channel too. The first one where
why did I just get kicked out of the freaking thing? It's like this is the second time I walk in, his dumbass turns around.
But yeah, The Mandalorian, like, oh, not The Mandalorian. Why? Because The Mandalorian is such a damn good show. That's why it's stuck in my head. I'm thinking of it because I can't get the mandolin right. My bad. So, but yeah, that was the suit's first thing. We're gonna use the mandolin. And it's like, no. And by the way, guess what? You know some of that movie? Everyone loves the first Iron Man. I love the first Iron Man. Did you know that half of the movie was filmed without script? Like that scene where Tony Stark's sitting with the press and like, sit down, sit down. Was my dad really actually a good person? That entire thing was impromptu acting. Which, I'll give you another scene, which, why they don't use impromptu acting, because it can actually bomb real bad. I'll give you a movie that did really bad in theaters, that bombed. It's good, it's a great guilty pleasure movie, but it bombed because of, it was filmed most of out of script. Transformers 2.
Yep. No, actually, no, it didn't bomb because they wouldn't have made the third one. It was just that it was starting the debate of. But okay, I remember the argument that was going on at the time was. But
it was filmed most. I'm just trying to use the analogy of filming without a script. Yeah. That's why that was there. We'll go to Transformers on another day. We'll go to Transformers.
There was a comment that Michael Bay had said at the time saying that he says, "Well, forgive me for being faithful to the Transformers license because the Transformers were never full of story. They were about robots fighting with humans caught in the middle."
Yeah, he tried to make it grounded.
He's like I tried to actually give the material story. If it's just a dumb action film, and it was at the early Marvel film, it was the early Marvel. He says if you just want that, watch a Marvel film.
Yep. And you know, I give credit to Michael Bay for trying to do that. You know what I mean? But we also got to admit, Michael Bay likes to blow shit. Not only that, but Michael Bay likes to blow shit up. Okay.
But the thing, for a Transformers movie, what did you need? That's at least 40% is that.
Do you want to know something funny? I was watching a movie the other day, and it was a low budget, a good like film. I was like, "Oh, that's great!" And there was a big explosion. I'm like, "Oh, I bet Michael Bay, I hope Michael Bay didn't make this." And then it was like executive producer, the guy who gives the money, Michael Bay. I was like, "Fuck!" No wonder that's how he got the money. He had to put an explosion in there because anything that has a good explosion usually has Michael Bay's name on it. He's the guy you go to if you want to blow shit up. I mean, I'm not being mean on him, but let's just face it. A lot of his movies always have something being blown up really cool looking. But yeah, the MCU, when it started with Iron Man, was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
And by the way, back then, nobody stayed behind for the credit scenes. Nobody. I knew people who went back to Iron Man 1, to go see the Samuel Jackson scenes. They're like, what? Oh, and by the way, YouTube wasn't around back then either. YouTube was in its infancy stages.
That's where Michael Bay would get away with it because he would literally play, "Oh, it's my word as a professional against yours."
Yep. Well, not yep, but I can just say, like, yeah, I can kind of see.
The first movie. See, here's the thing. The first movie was good because it was a cartoon. Okay, the second one was out of its fucking mind.
Well, let's just say this. Let's deviate now. Now that we're done with the Marvel argument, because I'm pretty sure I shut down most of your chat's argument to a degree because I can't see them.
Nobody was asking about that. It was just about in general. That's how I say in general how fandom was working back then.
Yeah, but let's deviate straight into one of the secondary meats of the conversation, the Transformers movie. Yes, Michael Bay tried to put a story in the very first Transformers movie. He went so far as to go with fans, and this is catering to the fans in a good way, as to get the original actor who voiced the original, you know what I mean?
Machine.
Yeah. Who voiced the original, what's his name?
Now, I think
Prime.
Here's the thing, because back then, he was saying, I wanted to update the look of the car, the way they transform to look modern cars, and not cars from the 60s, 70s, no, from the 70s, 80s, 90s, things like that. I didn't want them to, he says, those look wouldn't work. The only reason they made this new Bumblebee movie was basically to say, it was admitted that it was just as a fuck you to Michael Bay. But he was like this, he's like, well, you obviously they're gonna agree with you because I think he tweeted out during the time of the Bumblebee movie. He says the only reason people agree with it because one, yes, it looks like the cartoon, but that was just mainly because that's easy to do. You just basically gave a bunch of whiners what they wanted.
Man, Michael Bay, he's got balls.
Why do you think he's not able to make movies now?
Yeah,
Nobody
because
finances him.
Because nobody
Because his
wants.
mouth will vomit.
I mean, I can't. I will not. I can say, Michael Bay, you make good movies, but your mouth gets your ass in trouble more than anything. But you make good stuff. You know, you're not freaking. What was the asshole's guy that We Don't Kill Dogs?
Neil.
Neil. Yeah, you're not a Neil. At least you'll go through if you're
I'm
working.
still waiting for the new Spawn movie. It's the studio, because the writer said that. Here's the thing. It's the studio who's trying to make the Spawn movie fail. Because
the original
he says,
Spawn,
I want it.
the
He says, I
original
want it to
Spawn
be rated
movie
R.
to this day,
Yeah.
even though it's rated, even though it's cheesy as hell, the best, it's aged still really good, is the scene where he comes down with his cape in there through the glass ceiling.
And the guy actually acts and sounds and he was, even though it was funny, you put Spawn in a bad movie, but he was Spawn.
Oh yeah, that guy, that actor knew what he was freaking doing, and I don't give that that critique
I don't
lightly.
give that actor shit.
I mean, and he's a good actor in general, but to play Spawn the way he did in a few of those scenes probably had to be really hard.
Because it's a dual,
especially when he comes back.
It's a dual role.
Not even to mention the fact when he realizes that, you know, the devil kind of fucked him over and made him wait like 8 years.
Jon Favreau didn't want the Mandarin in the Iron Man movie, but it did not happen. Spawn movie sequel. No, that's the thing. They canceled the sequel. There is no Spawn sequel. It's a Spawn reboot. But every time the director says, "Yes, I'm gonna make it," like every time he's doing something positive for the fans, the studio interferes, restricts,
the people
and
with the
contradicts
money
what
would
he
interfere.
says.
Because here's another thing the fandoms don't understand. Also, yes, it's your fault, but it's also the people with the money's fault as well for listening to you.
They're having a stalemate right now with it because they're telling him change the script. He says, "No, I'm the writer of the comic. I can write how the Spawn movie goes." So until then, until something gives way, they're not doing it.
Good. Okay, I mean, not trying to be
and
mean.
Mandarin is coming, but he's coming where it makes sense because Mandarin is an Asian villain. He's basically Asian ethnicity. He's called, you know, and he's got the 10 Asian rings.
You know, I would laugh my ass off if they got like a taller version of somebody like Jet Li.
No, I would laugh if they got Shang Tsung to do it.
Yeah, the guy who plays Shang Tsung, get him to do it. He's really good at video game roles.
Seriously.
I mean, did you see him as Heihachi? The guy made him look like and sound like freaking Heihachi from the freaking video games. Do you know how hard that is to freaking nail?
And not just that, even though he didn't fight much, you knew you didn't want to fuck with him.
He had the demeanor where at the end of the film credits, people don't watch the end of the credits where he goes, "I am Tekken," just in the severe voice. It makes the soldier put his gun down.
B said the same thing. The guy wants to do it more like the comic book, but the studio constantly is fighting him on that.
That's why the
it's
MCU...
like if you want, and he's telling you for a reason. If you want to make it close to the basically it's almost like the studio that he's under is like, oh, you want to make it for the fans? No, but I would be like, I would flat out say, do you guys like money? They'll be like,
that's
yeah,
what
we
you
do. So
threaten them with money.
Shut the fuck up and sit down.
That's actually how some successful movies, like, you know what I mean, that have been the cases of lightning in a bottle, have gone, do you want money? Yeah. Because the studio will be facing financial crisis. They'll be like, yeah. Then he's like, let me do my thing. I guarantee this film will come in money. And then it'll sell like hotcakes. Yeah.
Tali is giving a blowjob.
What, in the new Mass Effect?
No, Tali.
Oh, I thought you meant Talia as in like Talia,
Tali is giving a blowjob and he just took 2 nuts. I'm walking away.
What? Is that a guy from the...
Tali. You know Tali.
Let me look.
The one that says, want to get a little high? You might have to go back a little bit because now I'm inside where my mission requires. But
oh, I know him now. I think I remember him now, yeah.
Yeah, he's getting blow on the He's blowing somebody behind the thing, behind a towel and a mattress. What the fuck? Kenny's parents is arguing about meth. Yeah, they're arguing about a crack pipe in the house. And Kenny's got a Playboy poster. Good job, Kenny.
Good job, Kenny. We accidentally replaced your heart with a baked potato. You have 10 seconds before you will die. Goodbye.
Todd should make his own movie studio and take Spawn rights with them, or with him. That's the thing. Without studio, like without this thing, I don't know if he has the money to do that. He probably only has enough, but it's like, it's funny how the ones with the money don't know shit, and they assume they're like, yeah, we can make the movie. You make it, it'll bomb. And then they'll say, no, it was the fans that didn't do it, because we did make the movie. You missed the point.
What's
you made
it
the
on,
movie,
Hollow?
but you made them.
I mean, I know you're
The
scheduling
OG
it,
Spawn movie killed Violator way too soon. They had more villains like Angels, Uriel, Anti-Spawn, or even Overkill. He could have been... See, Violator could have just been the antagonist, but get defeated, but he could return in a sequel. Just, like, make him someone getting spawned. The more he fights Violator, the more he adjusts to his powers, and have an actual powered-up villain that pushes Spawn to full...
let me give you the defense just on Violator's behalf. At the time, the Spawn comics were still hotcakes and still were working on the lore shit.
Actually, you know what's funny? When people look back to this day, Violator in the movie acts the same way he did in the film, and people are like, oh, who is this annoying character? That's him in the comic books! So
yeah, he's an annoying fat fuck in the comic books. So why don't you
it brings up the question, should outsiders be allowed to review something that's in a franchise, or should fans from the franchise review the product? That way they know the product in and out.
You know, that's why you had the original movie critics. Because the original movie critics... No, I'm going to use critics from, like, the early aughts, okay? The 2000s, like when Sam Raimi and, like, films were coming out. Those people knew the lore. Because I remember reading the USA Today, and the guy was like, why is the black suit in here? Like, you know, Venom, he spoiled a little bit because, you know, Venom was shown in there, right? He's like, it feels like they shoved a little bit too much in this movie. The continuity-wise. They used to bring up how it felt rushed, how, like, you know, it should, like, you know, I mean, kind of the critiques we do. Newspapers usually used to have fans that actually read the fucking content and critiqued it correctly. But they would give it like 4 or 5 stars, and then, like, you know what I mean? They even would sometimes, like, give it like 1 star. Like, they weren't afraid. They had balls back in the day in the aughts, the newspapers. I would specifically pick up the USA Today on the weekends on the job I worked back then. You know what's funny? The
only time, even without the internet, this is when I saw people really lose their shit about film reviews, because it was in regards to Revenge of the Sith.
Oh yeah.
The news was saying that, oh, you know, this is like the most violent Star Wars film. It is not family friendly. You know, it defeats the purpose. What is set up by the Jedi. You know how the Jedi are supposed to be figures and they're just all eradicated. I'm like, if I could put my mind the way I am right now back then, I'll be like this. It's called Revenge of the Sith. It's episode 3. There was a major event that led to the rise of the Empire and the fall of the Jedi.
Hey, Ashton, man, I just said, what's up? I was going to say, I want to ask him a question just to say, do you think film critics were more legit back in the aughts, like the Sam Raimi days, and probably before let's X out that one, because that's an example of people not knowing shit, because that was that.
Who goes into the movie franchise not even knowing what it is, then should that person be
considered a critic?
To review it?
Yeah, that's the question. That's the question we're asking, Ashton, man, because I remember back in the aughts, people knew some of the Spider-Man lore even. Remember?
Well, here's the thing. It was easy for everyone to understand the lore of Sam Raimi because he was drawing from the original 60s Spider-Man run. So it was easy to understand where he was going. Yeah.
But even some films, like even Iron Man and like people were like, how the hell did they pull the Iron Man as a trunk? Someone brought that up in an older review, I believe. The newspaper, like, this is the nicest
You see in the movies that he subtly deals with it, and then it fully goes away by the time he's in. But I think after part 3, he officially gives that up.
Yeah, but yeah, as far as 3, he had post-traumatic stress to the extreme.
Yeah, Spawn. Yeah, he is with Image Comics, but he was a Marvel character. Wasn't he created under Marvel?
No, he was in DC. He was in Dark Horse.
Then why did they tie him so much to Marvel material?
I'm not sure if Dark Horse is Marvel or not. I believe it was a Dark Horse.
No. Marvel and Dark Horse do the Star Wars stuff, so I can understand where that comes from because, you know.
Yeah, I think he was Dark Horse. I have a freaking comic of.
Oh yeah,
it's always
Keo,
going to be someone
of
the version of the character. Depends on the director or offer a movie. That is true, Ashton, man. It depends on who's filming it and who's doing it. That is true. The vision they want to go in, and also
like,
film critics. But another thing that critics nowadays are not critics. Movie producers, and movie makers, they bend the knee too much to their freaking overlords with the money. I would just say, okay, you don't want a good movie? Fuck it, I'm off the project. But we're already casting everything. You don't want me to do my thing? Peace. That's how some people have lost their reputation, but at least they stood up for what they believed in.
Mm-hmm.
Even comic book writers did that shit back when DC and Marvel were jacking around with them. They're like, nope, screw you, peace. I'm going to go to your other company that hates you. Or I'm going to create an indie comic.
Could Todd create his own superhero franchise with Spawn if only it... That's the thing, the Spawn character alone, with the amount of characters tied to his story...
Ooh, he's like the biggest crossover. Alone. He's like, he has a lot of guest stars back in the 90s of like obscure...
But I mean, you can create a Spawn universe without any MCU characters or anything involved because he's got so many of his own unique character. Like, kind of like how Spider-Man has characters. You notice how most of Spider-Man's villains are based off either monsters or reptile or, you know, animals.
Reptilians. Yeah.
Only very rarely going into aliens and shit like that.
The most alien thing you have in the Spideyverse, and this is gonna sound controversial, is symbiote. Because nobody wants to go into, like, supernatural realm like the other ones. Spidey is probably the most grounded one of them all. Every one of them has gone off shopping to La La Land. Alright, because of the Star Wars stopped following the books, which lost a lot of fans, which depends on who's doing it. Yes, Ashman, one thing people don't realize is the books were basically fan fiction that was canonized.
Actually, never canon because George Lucas still then was in control. And he used to tell everybody that, please don't get your hopes up. These stories, he's like, yeah, these stories are cool, they're great, but they're not official tie-in lores to my work. So it's the fact that I feel that the fandom destroyed themselves by hyping themselves up.
Yeah.
With that, because it was, I knew from the get-go it was never official.
In my opinion, I don't think they ever should have gone past the Return of the Jedi, because that's where you shot yourself in the foot, big time. There's too much lore.
There is story. I mean, there's even stories you could make up. You can draw inspiration. The only logical direction I said they should have introduced Darth Krayt by that point. He would have been a fair villain already to do that. It would have took you away from Palpatine. It would have took you away from the Empire. It would have took you away from everything.
Yeah, do the massive time skip where there is a massive time skip like where none of the characters are alive anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is a time skip. Yeah, there is a big time skip for that.
You go way that far because then you're safe zone. I mean, that's actually a safe zone.
All you have to do is just say that, you know, these are the descent. They could have just went with Cade Skywalker and said he could have said I'm the descendant of Luke Skywalker, blah blah blah, and he's the one that. Then to tie Darth Krayt to the whole saga, tell the story that he was the one he was in the Clone Wars, he was in the original trilogy, he was off doing his training with the dark side, doing his own thing, being tortured by the Vaughn. I mean, you know, they don't have to introduce the Vaughn. They could just say
basically pull a KOTOR. Basically pull a KOTOR. That's actually how, even though KOTOR is beloved, it was. The reason KOTOR exists that far in the timeline is because BioWare's like, damn it, we want to make a Star Wars game. And Lucas is like, look, man, I'm not dealing with more fan fiction. You know what I mean? And he's like, you're not touching my crap. You're like, you've made your video games for my LucasArts. You know what I mean? Like, and they're like, okay, BioWare's like, and he's like, if you make all these choices, that's going to create continuity problems. Remember? I think that was his argument. He's like, and Bauer's like, okay, and he's like, and you can't touch the Clone Wars because I've not built them yet. Like I've only done episode 1, and they're like, okay, well, how do it? And then they're like, I got it. Let's go 10,000 years in the past to an area nobody knows about and create the origin stories. And Lucas is like, great idea. I work with the midi-chlorian line. I mean, really, that was basically the agreement.
But I like how all of a sudden people are no longer complaining about the midichlorians, even though the midichlorians are mentioned in the Mandalorian, just under a different name.
Yeah, but I'm just using the.
If they're gonna stand, I'm saying if they're gonna stand with something, stand against it the whole time. Don't pick and choose which.
I will say I'm a bit guilty on the midi-chlorian things, but that was until I did a little more deep searching back when I got older. Okay. I was like, what the fuck? Because I had read a lot of the older books, and I'm like, wait, midi-chlorians? I was like, oh, and then I got kind of, as I got older, I was like, he was trying to go somewhere with it, because I started writing by that point. I'm like, oh, you wanted to create a new concept in your already work, and these were, that's also when I found out that the Legends company were basically legal-ass fanfictions. I'm like, problems.
Yeah, like there is a spiritual aspect to Star Wars, but in a place filled with technology, you'd expect beings to try to figure it out through science.
Basically, you could have what's basically modern today. You have spiritualism and people who believe in the church, and then you have people who believe in Scientology.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what it was. And it's funny how the current guys, the ones in charge of the Clone Wars and Mandalorian, said that the prequels were brilliant. People don't want to use their brain when watching a movie.
Yeah. Do you know how it's so easy to make a mindless blowing up slasher film that everyone will enjoy because you don't have to think about it. But when you try to enter something complex to it or add a little subtlety to it, that's why people in horror slasher films nowadays just add background subtlety for foreshadowing. Because you don't need to fucking explain it. If you go watch it a second time, like, oh, they were hinting at it, okay. It's not the Luke, I am your father. Which, by the way, as far as you want to meme the shit out of that started the twist.
Battle meditation, but battle meditation has been used recently in canon. It's been portrayed that it has these overpowered abilities that are now being introduced from the Legends. They're at least giving them. They're giving them. There's a cost to using them, which makes sense. The cost for power, which is
battle meditation in itself is also a risky thing because you have to freaking. It was stated that I forgot it was like I think it was in the book of the Return of the Jedi that Palpatine was using battle meditation. You know what I mean? To control the freaking flights. And once he lost his concentration because his stupidity with Vader and all them, the thing fell apart.
The ship fell apart. Yeah. Come on.
It explains why they crumbled so quick. And that was actually how the concept of battle meditation was created. The authors kind of asked Lucas, you know what I mean, of BioWare. They're like, hey, could we use this kind of concept? Because battle meditation hadn't been created as a concept or explain that problem with the battle. Because you really think about it, the Rebels really should have lost even if Palpatine fell. The Empire had a lot of firepower.
Wow, I just came back and butter summoned Mexicans.
But when you really think about it, battle meditation, thankfully the people could never figure out for years in Return of the Jedi, why did the freaking Empire lose? You remember? Even Legends, and then the BioWare people actually came up with the concept of battle meditation. And then Lucas like, got it, I'm going to tie that in there. It would actually make sense. If Palpatine was using battle meditation, it would explain why they lost. Because when you look at it, the Rebels didn't have enough firepower. They would just the Empire still without Palpatine could just annihilate their ass with the firepower they had in space. Do you seen those ships? I mean, I like my super weapons too. That's a lot of firepower you have to deal with your tiny little TIE fighters. I mean, X-wings.
X-wings, yeah.
My bad. I'm a Star Wars connoisseur and I just can't remember freaking ships' names. I'm horrible at that. I remember your super weapons.
Fuck yeah.
We gotta love our super weapons. Star Wars loves super weapons.
That's what I'm just saying. You know what's funny? How everything, like, what's a trump of shonen? Transformations, even if it's outrageous.
Yep.
To characters. What's a trope for the Sith? Super weapons. And modern Star Wars fans, like the supposed modern fans are like, or like the Phantom Menace, man, they're like, the Sith and their super weapons don't make sense. I'm like, then you
it's not
don't
supposed to.
Then you don't like KOTOR then.
Huh?
You don't like, that's what I'm saying. That means they should just admit that they don't like KOTOR.
But because when I really think about it, I've actually analyzed the concept of Starforge. It's brilliant, but it's actually extremely costly. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. Because you could it means you could keep cranking out artillery like crazy. It's basically an infinite artillery button. And that could win a lot of battles, but if you don't have the men to control it, you got problems.
Yep.
You still need people to control it, or you need battle meditation. Because then you're controlling them all remotely. And someone like Revan could probably pull off battle meditation, I'd like to say that. Just saying. He could have probably pulled off battle meditation. He probably just didn't use it very often. Because he was so charismatic, people naturally followed him, so he didn't need to use that crap.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he was aware of the concept, he just didn't study it because of his natural charismaticism.
Yeah, and if he didn't know it, then it's a good thing he didn't, because then Malik couldn't exploit it.
And another thing, holy crap, just imagine, since he got his hands on the Starforge, he could just go straight to Vijay and crush his ass, if he knew battle meditation. You know that, right? They would be so screwed if he had the Starforge.
It would be still more of a battle because Vijay has the Eternal Empire.
But I'm just saying.
The Eternal.
It would be a battle of attrition. Literally, who could who could survive the longest? Because he'd just keep cranking out the you know what I mean, the things and controlling all those ships remotely. It's just literally who's gonna outlast who at that point.
And he's the only person that Vijay had a hard somebody who's not from the ancient era. Vijay had a hard time to fight Revan. He was like, Jesus fucking Christ, because an ancient Sith and an ancient Jedi will fucking destroy any modern Force user in a fight.
Oh yeah.
Because they know things that they don't know now.
It was basically the only thing Revan was excelling at is just his basic mundane skills. Yeah. Like, he was not going to win against Vijay with the Force, but with freaking, you know what I mean? His blade work, and his master of how to block certain Force things. That's the only thing that saved him. It was literally an Anakin
doesn't say he's seen your video.
Yeah, it was basically an Anakin versus Obi-Wan thing. Because when you really think of that, both of them, that thing is just a lightsaber fight. Because Obi-Wan was constantly countering Anakin's freaking stuff. They visually show it, like, because they're pushing each other with their one hand, and that was basically Obi-Wan blocking Anakin's power and Anakin blocking Obi-Wan's power. So they had to go strictly saber duel, and that's what Vijay had to do against freaking Revan. And Revan's just like, you know what I mean? That was one of Revan's biggest things, is he liked to do mundane stuff. He didn't believe in always limiting yourself to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what made him dangerous, really. So yeah, I love Revan to death. I love his mentality, but I do know his flaws. He has a massive flaws. I would say it's his ego.
He said, I think there should about the user empire in the unknown regions of the galaxy. That's where they're going now. They're finally establishing that they're diving more into the unknown regions. Even the newer, the High Republic stuff is explaining the unknown regions and colonization of areas, but the only people who were able to map out the unknown regions were the Sith, and their records were destroyed in the Jedi-Sith War.
Yep. See, this is funny, is like, no people bother to look at how the Sith think. I mean, they don't really write a lot of stuff down because they prefer to keep their cards to their chest because... Or
their holocrons, which the Jedi hoard, but they won't look through.
Yeah, I was like, no, this is dangerous. But it has the secret to freaking immortality, you dumbass! Sorry, I just like to point out some small factors.
Like recently in the comics, Vader has went to Exegol, and this comic book, people love the comic books, The Vader comics, and all I gotta say is the Vader comics smacks every hater in the face of the both Palpatine's area and the Exegol planet, saying, "Oh, there's no such thing as Sith cults living on this. All Sith abided by the rule of two."
No, they didn't. I would say no.
Yeah, no, they didn't. Yeah.
Rev Malik kind of didn't believe in the rule of two to a degree.
The rule
but...
of two was never established by that point.
Oh wait,
it was
take
only
that back.
It was
established by Bane. I'm sorry. We always got.
That was 800 years. That's only 800 years. By the World 2 has only been around for 800 years. So of course, if there's a world in the distance, weren't even the Sith scared to enter it because they felt something? No, they were trying to find it. What was in the unknown regions?
Oh yeah, Sith were. Not even Vishay has gotten that far in the unknown fucking regions.
He is in the unknown regions.
No, but
that's
I mean,
where
he is there. But you know, I mean, they don't even after the Old Republic fell, which would be that era, I believe. The unknown regions kind of like all the data went poop. So now it was like, what's in the unknown regions? And then it'd be like, I imagine if somebody Rev Spirit went by and be like, dude, you don't want to go to the unknown regions. I fought many wars there. It's not fun. You know that, right?
See, with the Vader, what Vader's dealing with now in the comics, he's going to Exegol, and the only person who knows the secret to immortality, I think Vader's gonna kill them now because Vader doesn't want Palpatine to get that secret.
Wasn't that Hearth in like the older not the Accelerator Works, but the Time Works? He was a Dark Jedi Hearth, and he had found the freaking Kron. It was in the Bane book. The Han's Apprentice had found Bane's holocron of
no, Zahana had found Freedon Nads.
That's what I meant, and her apprentice had run off with it that she was originally going to get, and he ran off with the thing, and he figured out, and he'd been doing it for years, and until he ran into Luke.
Wasn't Nihilus technically? Nihilus is actually, I would consider him as the Witch King of Star Wars, because Nihilus, yes, he's not dead, but he's not alive either. He's kind of like a Nazgul. He exists. He just exists, but he has no physical
I would give
form.
you this. He is the nuclear weapon of the freaking Star Wars setting. The man can walk on a planet and suck all life on it. What is that in real life? Almost equivalent to a nuke. I give Obsidian credit. They figure out shit to make shit terrifying. Plato's Returnity. And the Wall of the Fateless. You know what the Wall of the Faithless is, right? Yeah, that thing's freaking terrifying. You'd be tortured for all eternity. God dang. And Obsidian came up with that concept. So yeah, and they're the ones that created your game. Or wrote your game.
Nihilus, that's the thing. He is sort of, here's the thing, he is sort of immortal, but he has to constantly drain to make it work.
Because his body's falling apart.
Yeah, his body's falling apart.
Even Krea's apprentice that cut off her arm. Go figure. You know what?
Scion.
I love the fact that Obsidian went with the arm thing. Did you notice that? Because Lucas always liked to chop off arms, so they went with Krea, the mentor, losing her arm. I was thinking, oh my god, they're Obsidian likes to put little Easter eggs, and that was an Easter egg to losing arms. But hell, even Bleach liked to do the arm cutting off tactic. No, if you look at all Ichigo does is he likes to cut off people's arms at first. His hands. But yeah, Scion is an example of basically staying alive. His force is holding his freaking body together.
His hatred is what's holding him, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, Maul pulled the same trick off. Pissed off at Obi-Wan.
Lived long enough to be able to fucking have his body or at least live long enough to be able to at least fix his body.
Yeah, too bad you're not gonna be having sex or any other carnal activities. I didn't
think he didn't give a shit either.
I don't think he gets to eat anymore. I'd be pissed as hell.
No, they didn't cut off his stomach completely. It's just where his waist down legs are, like real low, so he doesn't even.
I'm just saying, Obi-Wan took away a lot of crap from that.
I'm sure there's ways for him to stay alive without nutrients.
Of course there is.
He's been in far worse fucking conditions.
But yeah, the trick with like holding your body together with just your pure
Well, here's the
rage
thing.
has been around forever.
With that Bull Run, if they called a movie like Star Wars Origins, then you'll have people complain and say, "Oh, they're using just such a stereotypical title. Origins is used with anything." Let's not forget X-Men Origins. Even though it's a completely separate thing, they will bring it up like it holds
Hey,
weight.
I will always say I love X-Men Origins. One scene, the opening, when you see how long Wolverine's been alive, it goes from
actually
Civil
longer than
War.
that.
You know, what I
He's
mean.
been through more wars, yeah.
It just goes through that he was in the Civil War, the America, it was
Oh,
the Civil
Inquisition,
War.
it's okay.
You know, it was hilarious. Was just how many freaking wars he lived in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when that was pulling back to the old quote from the very first movie when Jean Grey was examining. He goes, "He may very well be older than you, Professor." And yeah, that's where they pulled that from. Although, thank you for, by the way, as much as you want to shit on the movie, you gotta thank it because we got Deadpool because of that. With
And
Ryan Reynolds.
the best Wolverine game ever made.
Yep, and we got Ryan Reynolds to play because, you know, I don't like what they did with the Deadpool experiment. That was stupid, but I like how Ryan Reynolds basically got the job because of his snark. And my one thing is like, whoa, I can't think of the name. So Stryker finally found a way to shut you up. It was to seal his mouth shut, which fucking messed up.
Which, that was an insult to the fans because Deadpool's mouth never ended up like that. And I remember those people leaving the thing, wow, this is just like Wolverine's origins. I was like, even I knew, I was like, yeah, this is not that wasn't that. How could you even say that? That's just damage control like a motherfucker.
Hell, the game played that trick off better.
Damage control was cool.
The game basically was going towards the direction of the Sentinels.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have Deadpool, you had the Sentinel Project. Which we see in Days of Future Past, which is freaking awesome. I know the time travel screwy dooey, but...
The time travel in Days of Future Past wasn't bad. It was just... Fox was so inconsistent with the timeline. They were like, okay... But they were like, every time they were trying to introduce something new was contradicting that didn't happen. And they never... Either they chose to ignore that...
Do you know that's why I don't watch?
Care.
Do you know why after Days of Future Past I've never watched another X-Men movie again? Because I knew they'd fuck it up, and I enjoyed the fact that everybody got their good ending after all the shit they went through.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, you don't need to continue the story of the Dark Phoenix. And when I heard they were making a third, I was like, they're gonna do the Dark Phoenix, and they did it. I was like, fuck, why? That's the hardest storyline you will ever get.
And you don't have the key. And as funny as the key elements you need for that is in the MCU, so you couldn't have done it correctly. So they were still trying to say,
even the TV show, the good cartoons,
the
it was multiple arcs. It was multiple seasons. That the TV show in the 90s took forever to adapt that. Like, the Phoenix Spirit left her body and then it came back causing more problems. The Phoenix was very expanded upon.
Fuck, how am I supposed to get
So
back?
yeah, getting the Dark Phoenix storyline. Although my favorite scene in the X-Men First Class is the scene with Magneto uses a quarter to kill the dude.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome. That was the equivalent of a better scene of I will kill you with this teacup. He takes a quarter. A freaking quarter.
I hate the way they can change the rules on the fly in this game. So the Mexicans have tinfoil, which makes them have no effects.
Hey, remember earlier in the last night you had the one kid changing the rules like every kid at the damn playground does? Which was funny as hell. Wait, you can't do that. He's like, what? But yeah, it's
Okay, the healing. Wait a minute. The health potion, the revival has the effect of supposed to being able to heal me in full, not partly.
So
Patrick
yeah.
Stewart's best Professor X. I give James McAvoy credit. He played a good young X.
He played a good young X because that was the one thing people like fans always piss on. Like, no. If you're going back to when Magneto and them were young, you need good actors. And the guy who played Magneto,
did it, yeah.
They nailed it. Although I love the Wolverine cameo. That was when he was quitting the role of Hugh Jackman before he did Logan, I think. He was working on Logan at the time, and they go, "Hey, I'm Professor X, fuck off." It's got like, I'm not being set up in your setting. And then, wait, okay, I'll do Days of Future Past and fix the timeline. Although what was really messed up was he basically drowned. When you really think of it.
Yep.
Although my favorite scene in the horrible third movie is the one where Magneto just pulls with it. He's like, I can smell your antimantium from a mile away. And I'm thinking, please don't rip the antimantium out of it. When I was seeing that in theaters, I was like, don't rip it out of him. Don't do that trick. Don't do that trick. Because I remember that in the comics. That was brutal.
Yeah, that hurt.
He rips the antimantium straight off his bones and makes him go back to bone claws. Oh, nearly killing him too. But wow, I was like, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Thank God you just slammed him through 7,000 trees. But Magneto, you were a lot smarter back when you were younger. But we don't count that. Although Logan, I've also compared it to the Last of Us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have the top with the young girl and two old men.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just admit it. They all got their good send-offs, and I love it. It's how they have comics of the X-Men, and she's like, and Wolverine's like, that's not how it went. You know what I mean? And I like the fact the best way they kept in continuity of how Wolverine's dying is
he bled himself out. Shit, fucking gingers.
Oh, I was about to say, I like the concept of how his adamantium is killing him.
Mm-hmm. No, that actually wasn't it. It was something related to...
No, it was the food was what was killing the Miltons off, but his adamantium, was rusting, and his healing factor couldn't keep up with the adamantium and the food problem.
No, it wasn't just that, because he was still it was in the Wolverine film when he went to Japan when the chick nullified his powers. It left a lingering poison in his body that did that.
Yeah.
So it was still stuff that was tied to when he went to Japan that fucked him over.
Wolverine wanted to be mortal, which I don't get why. I can get why to a degree, but dude, you still have all the fucking advantages. So let you care anyway, you're a vagabond. You constantly drift from place to place to place. Even in the cartoon, you did that shit. It wasn't until you met Jubilee where he's just like, okay, I'll fucking stay, damn it. By the way, if you don't ever want to say the original X-Men cartoon wasn't dark, they killed Morph in the first episode, pretty brutally too. And then Mr. Sinister, which was implied, by the way, there was going to be a Mr. Sinister. I was like, yes, no.
And they never followed up on it.
I was like, damn it, man. Because Sinister is like the Hojo of that freaking setting.
Omega Red was in fucking Deadpool 2, but only eating at the prison table in the background.
I know. Omega Red's awesome. I'm not gonna
It's called like, Fox was like, they're like, I bet the director's like, alright, we're gonna use the villains that everybody expects. Fox is like, yeah, that's nice, but can you use the villains we want to use? But it doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't make sense, but as long as we put the stars in, if people like it, no.
It's funny is you have to have a director that'll put his foot down. You have to put a creator and
you'll immediately be kicked off the project.
Well, Sam Raimi that was why Sam Raimi got basically axed. Why the third Spider-Man film he feels bipolar.
Because they kept going against what he wanted to do. The producer kept saying, "Oh, put in Venom," and they said, "No, it doesn't make sense. We'll end it."
I've watched it several times when I was younger. I was like, this movie feels like it was supposed to end at the Bell scene. Because everything's filmed like he just dumped Mary Jane, you know what I mean? Everything had built up to that specific climax. And then it just kept on. I'm like, I remember watching it, I was like, why is it continuing? You know what I mean? Yep. I was like, you've gotten rid of Sandman, you're getting rid of that. This is clearly a climax. And that was probably...
How often do I stream on Twitch? 50-50. Between YouTube and Twitch.
On my end, it's occasionally, but what I've been doing lately is when John's streaming Twitch, I've been usually watching the live reaction to a horror movie that you've all recommended me, the audience, which you all should recommend in chat. Anything, and I'll watch them. That's on Tubi.
Oh my God, he actually stabbed Clyde with an actual adrenaline shot. Oh.
Shit. Whoops. Clyde.
No,
sorry.
but he was like this. You could have just fucking killed me, you could have just killed me, fucking coon. And he's like, oh, well, this is stuff they use in the hospital. Like, where the fuck did you get it? He's like, I ordered it from China.
Let's make the China jokes while we're here. Well, actually, that's all I'm all known for is making fun of China, shitting all over them. But yes, due to inconsistency, it's always, people want to blame the fans, but people also don't realize the money people play just as much a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you ain't got the money, you ain't got the stuff to have your promotional art, you know what I mean? And all this other stuff. You might as well be making an indie film at that point. Which, by the way, I've seen several fan-made indie films that are a hell of a lot better than a professional-made one. Rescue Mission. Star Wars Theory's Vader movie. Which, did you get freaking, were you inside? Okay, you were talking to Lucas at the time. When you made that, you made the agreement that you wouldn't make, you know, any money off it. So, of course, you probably got some sort of access to knowing the Mace Windu. That is funny how basically Star Wars Theory hints at that with the family he's making, and then bam, Mace Windu's mentioned in The Mandalorian, or whatever show they're making of coming back. It's like, it's almost as if he had insider access. Because he actually doesn't shit on any of them. I've noticed he's like the most neutral fence that there is. You get him off the fence, you're gonna piss him.
When you constantly harass people, of course they're gonna get at you. And if you judge something without context, then of course they're gonna disregard what you say because you're purposefully not understanding it.
You know what's funny? He doesn't like The Last Jedi, but like you said, he appreciates what it contributes to the lore.
You know what's funny? There was a tweet, there's a video that Geeks and Gamers deleted, but somebody saved it and re-uploaded it. He says, I love The Last Jedi. It makes sense, and then months later, when everyone started to hate it, that's when he jumped in on it.
Yep.
That's why nobody takes Geeks and Gamers seriously. He's the biggest flip-flopper. He's like that guy from Comic Book Cast, Armin, because Armin, I think he's got something against fans making up theories that are so good, that are, like, they're good, but they're outrageous, like, even if they don't happen, so he'll make it his mission to just go out and say, yeah, that's dumb. It's stupid. Not gonna happen. And you believe that, you're dumb. You don't know the inside, da-da-da-da. Probably because he's mad because he didn't think of that. Think of it himself.
Oh man,
I noticed that.
Speaking of writers and all these rights things, it's something someone asked me once, and they asked me, well, how does freaking hentai doujinshi exist and never get, like, these people can make money off it, but they never freaking get charged with plagiarism? I'm like, it's fairly simple. People like their rhymes with porn, so the authors of these will like, okay, you can make it and profit off it because people who like it will find that and want to know what the source material is from. I could give you an example of how an anime franchise that got big off that, Fate Stay Night. Many other franchises have been thanks to that thing in Japan. That's why they don't mind you doing that shit. The problem the problem is when you basically, you make sure the shit's not canon or anything like that, you know what I mean? To work, that was what shot Lucas in the head. If he had said, not made a canon department or anything like that, like continuity department, and just made it so that it already works, like, well, just, how do they put it? Like kids books, you know, people just pump out kids books like crazy, they're related to something, but in reality they're not. If Lucas had done that, he would not have the problems he has today. I guarantee you, because that's what the people in Japan do with their doujinshis. They just say, because they doujinshi can have a better story, they'll just be like, yeah, it exists. Go, but you think, thanks to that, you bought my source material. And that's also how Lucas got a lot of money, was fans made a bunch of, you know what I mean, that. And then fans figured out, okay, let's capitalize on the internet and create fanfiction.net. Where I can just don't have to worry about that going to a publishing company.
There's elements of the EU that...
Death Troopers.
Not just that, they would still tick people off. You know, it's like...
I use Death Troopers as the poster child of ones that, like, what? But it's awesome.
Here's the thing. What would people say? Okay, if they did the EU anyway, people would still get pissed off with Luke turning to the dark side because that's what he did.
Hey,
he still turned to the dark side and bowed to Palpatine and served him.
I want them to bring this freaking server back. It will shut every fanboy up. And people don't know about it because MMOs weren't big at the time as they are today. Bring back the old Legends MMO. Remember that? Any book came out, they would make it into the MMO.
Galaxies.
Yep. Bring that shit back. It will shut everyone up because it'll have Luke turn dark side, all that. They did it in that thing. It would shut up all.
I remember I got called bullshit for saying, "Oh, Luke never turned to the dark side." I'm like,
Accelerator works. Yes.
There's even comic books with that on the Dark Empire comic books where it's on the front cover where Luke is fighting alongside Palpatine.
Yep. And at one point, Leia actually had to figure out Leia was contemplating on killing her brother.
And she didn't have to because, you know, obviously Star Wars contrivance, you'll automatically turn back to the light side if something happens.
Oh yeah, but also he also didn't believe that Luke had sex too. He didn't believe in the monkism. No, he found Mara Jade as his princess and fucked the shit out of her.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna go there and just flat out say it. That's one thing.
When people look at how close the sequels become the Dark Empire trilogy, it just makes me wonder, these people defending the EU, how much do they even really know the EU?
Game? Did you play the MMO? Did you know of Galaxy? You bitch so much, but Galaxy did all the things you're bitching of. Just somebody revived the damn server.
Well, they can't because now Old Republic, the game, is the one that's...
No, but someone's done that to keep Outbreak alive.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, locate it so it's a private server. You know what I mean? You have to have the URL to get to the server. Like, you can't just type it in on Google. No, you have to have the specific URL to get to the server. Do that shit, it will shut every fucking fan up, and I will guarantee you that's how it will work.
There was also somebody one time on... Isn't the dark side tainted by chaos? No, we're talking about... We're talking about, like, the Sith-related dark side.
No. But also, it's worth noting, Gray Jedi always have existed to a day. That's what they just changed the concept to a fucking dark Jedi. They don't mind using light or dark. The problem is people. It's just like a human. You can get drowned in your anger. You get angry too easy. The freaking dark side is basically anger and aggression. So yeah, you can drown in that really easy. That's how you become stupid evil. I love using my term stupid evil.
You love that term, stupid evil.
Because, Malik, you glassed the planet for practically no reason.
For no reason?
That's stupid evil.
I agree, okay, I agree.
For someone that had already left the planet, too, to make matters worse.
Oh, I was saying, chaos is the dark side of the dark side. So basically, yeah, chaos is the dark side for Warhammer.
Yeah, literally. Except Warhammer's worse. Warhammer's worse in every way. I wouldn't throw any of my worst. Okay, I'd throw Namora and Warhammer.
I'm gonna say don't lie because I'm the first one to throw my enemies into the greatest.
I'm gonna throw him. I'm gonna throw Namora to whatever the people is that they like to do things for that sex god that rhymes with grape. That you saw. The Dark Elves equivalency. I'm gonna throw Namora to those people. That's where Namora is being sent. Or that's the crazy clowns.
The Slaanesh?
Yes. Yeah, the crazy clowns are the ones that, you know what I mean, were in that video with the factions. Yeah! I'm gonna. That's where I'll throw Nomura to one of those two people. And I'll have a great time with him.
What the fuck? They're using cat peas as drugs. Oh wow.
But yeah, there's so much. Like I said, the problem with Star Wars is if they had just done what Japan did with their doujinshis, just cut it off and say it's not canon. It's for your enjoyment. You wouldn't have this problem.
Because I bet you think if the EU didn't exist, then there wouldn't be no problem with the sequel.
Nope. And that's how you get rid of it. But the problem was it stayed around for 30 years.
It's told, but this thing is like, I would take the word of the creator over the words of people writing the fan fiction.
Yep. And you know,
if George Lucas says something is not canon but enjoy it anyway, I'll be like, okay, I can enjoy this as an alternate take on Star Wars.
That's what the creators of freaking Naruto and them did. I've seen some freaking Naruto fan fictions that make the freaking series look like shit.
In the video about the most powerful guy, the Slanish is on 9th place. Damn.
For example, I've seen a fanfiction where someone brought back the original stuff in part 1, you know how they use tactics and shit like that? Yeah, all of part 2 was that. Like, you didn't have the over-the-top god mode, demigods. No, they kept that 4th growl like that, so like, sorry, yeah, but the creator's like, keep it up, man! It's not connected to my story, and you're not making profit off it, you know what I mean? Yeah. The only profit you're doing is to keep the website alive, that's it. That's in the terms of service, I believe. If you create here, you know you won't make personal money, but the money will go basically to keeping the site alive. I'm fine with that. Especially if you're
call girl.
By the way,
here's the is it now?
You want to hear something funny? I've heard more. I will never forget this. This is on fanfiction. There are people who have literally pissed on people who want to make their work canon. They're like, no. Wow. Did you forget this site is called? Oh, by the way, if anybody's watching, you want to see a show that borderlines hentai, go watch Redo of the Healer.
The alarm has probably alerted the hostiles in the vicinity.
Hostile unit down. Rinse and repeat. In the name of the Emperor, of course.
I'll give them all pain. Pain is enjoyment. But pain so sweet, so alive. Pain is part of vital parts of one's existence. Would you like what he said with his dying breath? Watson. But yeah, Star Wars is an extremely complex topic. It's actually one of our big topics next to mostly movie geeks. Oh yeah, if anybody's wondering why I've made it so far, why the title of this is, the beginning of the podcast should explain why the title is this title. Because I kind of did anger Grandma with my review of VHS.
You are still alive and more or less in one piece. That's a success, I guess. Initiating exfiltration rituals.
I had to pee and eat something real quick.
Yeah, I might have to eat something in a little few minutes too, but yeah, what was I talking about? Like, apart from legalizing fan fiction in them and galaxies and that, and then,
I just burnt down a meth lab. I'll watch Queen's Blade for borderline hentai. That's my video, by the way. Oh, shit. Gosh. Alright, there's nothing I can do. I'm too far away.
Oh man, I don't need to know about how we're probably never gonna get our money that we were promised. Screw you.
Yeah, because the president fell asleep behind the pen again.
I wonder how many times we've shat on that president. Yeah, AOC, thanks for lying about the Capitol riots. Your ascot is so dead.
What? Who? What? Where?
AOC lying about the Capitol riot thing that she was in.
Oh.
Hey Red Hood, what's up? In case you're wondering what the title is, apparently I have angered John's grandma so bad that she had to cleanse her house. My religious zealotry was that good of an interpretation, I guess. She now thinks all Asian men are that way? Really?
No, she just thinks your particular brand has no soul.
Oh, when did I ever have a soul? According to some people.
Don't tell her that, because then she really will condemn you. I mean, you pissed off an old woman. I mean, how do you... I'm not gonna question that, because you probably pissed off plenty. Like, do you speak English? Can you take me to this aisle?
Yeah, that was the old woman that did that shit to me. I'm just like... Okay. And I had to hand her to the next clerk, because I'm like, I'm not dealing with this shit. I've always felt bad for doing that to somebody who clearly, when you work at a Walmart, most of the time there's an interpreter. The kids are there to interpret for them. So I was like, oh, and it was Spanish people. No offense, John. And I was like, I'm going to sound so degrading because I was like, just give me gestures or something, you know what I mean? I was trying not to be that way. And finally I was like, because she kept saying pepper, and I was like, okay. I'll take you to the pepper. Took her to Spice Aisle and all these different spices. I was like, this one's one. No, pepper. I was like, the long shot. Where's the freaking kid?
That dude committed an OD and burned himself alive with a bunch of cats.
The long shot I had was I basically took the lady to the groceries produce aisle because I had just refilled the produce, and she actually wanted bell peppers. That's the one time I've ever been like, well, I'm never saying anything. Just say bell pepper, not pepper.
What's the password? 0.
But yes, Red, Dustin, apparently, she had to go in there after seeing that video and cleanse her house of holy water and said I was holding the book of the damned.
My uncle said that my grandma was throwing sage around the house. What have you done, Kyo?
I didn't do anything other than impersonate a priest, which I don't know how
a Catholic priest, mind you. And one of the things she said Asians can't be priests. She's like, they can be. She's like, they can be those guys in the brown hoods, but that's it.
Yes, I did. I had a black shirt on. I made sure to put a little white thing to make it look like the white color. And I said, oh, the Book of Revan. Because I'm holding the Revan book. Which, you nearly fell off your chair last night when you saw that. I was like, wait for it to upload, wait for it. So if you look to the last 10 minutes of his stream last night, you can see John's reaction. It's just like, oh my god. Because you didn't think I was going to go that far.
No, not really.
It's the one thing I always find funny about people I know. They're like, you. Like, most of the time, like, I'll basically call someone out. I was like, did you have sex with your friend? I didn't. Yeah, you did. She did what? How did you? I was like, and most of my other friends will just facepalm like, you asshole. You don't call them out!
Oh shit.
Well, she's clearly guilty of something.
Aren't they all?
Oh, I was. Apparently, according to John's grandmother, I was actually saying if you mess up on some of the prayers even. If you got the references, any Catholic would. That's probably why she freaked out. Yeah, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. I knew for a fact if any Catholic person was to see that, they would flip out. Well, at least heavy Catholic, anyway. Because the one I think I said was the one you usually say at funerals. Whoops. Because I was saying a chair, and the fact I did the Holy Trinity, probably prayer thing, probably pissed her off more.
Oh, you had no idea what you did. When she boils pots to clean her knives, that means she's mad, and I'm out. That's what my cousin over there said she was doing too. I think she wants to rip your genitals, but she would say something along the lines of, she was like, there wouldn't be that much to cut anyway with them chinks. God, I'm coming. I'm coming.
Oh, you want to bet? Why don't you watch VHS, Dustin? It's on Tubi. The vampire woman castrates this one guy by ripping his balls off completely.
I'm gonna fuse this in Kyo's orcish tongue.
All I gotta say is I think I do an excellent job of pissing certain people off. At least a certain demographic.
Oh, I decided to up the idea of how we will do a Resident Evil 5 stream. You have to stream Sheva from your end and Chris on my end, so that means everybody's getting a perspective of both fucking camera angles.
That's fine with me. At least we know we can get the ass shots. I'm taking a shot at Mass Effect for that.
Yeah.
Although
that wasn't the director's idea.
I know.
They did that. Like, I guess before they greenlit the game, they threw that in, and he doesn't know about it. So they would have to delay the game to remove it, and he doesn't want that to happen because then that'd be financially detrimental. So it's basically they had to fuck him to do it.
Well,
so when it comes out, don't blame him. Blame the Puritans.
I'm not gonna blame too much because if you cut my freaking story or the sex scenes out entirely, I'm gonna be pissed. There's some
Well, they didn't do that now.
I mean, let's face it. If you took out the Thane scene, you know the scene I'm talking about, Mass Effect 3. That bring man tears to anybody, or the Morton scene, and you altered them in any way. Woo! You're gonna see one angry rant from a Korean. You think no Koreans got soul? I'll find the devil's book. I'll hunt me down a Constantine copy of the Book of Hell as a prop. So yeah. Your grandmother really would freak out, and that would be intentionally me very mad. Although, using an actual prayer, I didn't think she'd actually recognize it.
She's not stupid. She's got. I know her from last time I went to see her. I know she keeps in her room. She has something called the Book, a Bible of Prayers. So she has the prayers. So the fact that you are, I'm gonna just say that you fucked up. You fucked up. You fucked up.
Hey, I intentionally took some prayers. I know my prayers. Yeah. Did you even know that some of those were actual prayers I was parodying?
Yeah, I knew. That's why I was laughing even harder at you. I was like, this sinner.
Well, I know for a fact when I die, I'm going to immediately go up there, and here's what's going to happen. The first thing I'm going to see is your grandmother, and right next to him will be the angel and God. And we'll be like, what'd I do? Why is she here? I know why you're here.
They'd be asking you the same question. It'd be like asking Hitler from Family Guy, not Family Guy, but from Robot Chicken. It was like, I'm just as surprised as you are. And I'm gonna be chilling on a cloud, smoking puff clouds like, Kyo, I was able to obtain this grace for you, so shut up.
I attained a meeting at least before you can take your elevator down.
I'll have to fucking literally pull a Galadriel from fucking Lord of the Rings who was able to get Gimli to go to the Elven Heaven.
Why do I have a feeling that even if I was sent to hell, I'd probably piss off even Satan there? Because God was like, that's it, you're going to the deepest regions. I was like, hey, is that the lowest portion from Dante's Inferno? He's gonna go, what? I was like, yeah, I read the Inferno, you guys send me there? Yeet. I was like, oh yeah, that's fine, send me there. And I was gonna sit next to the dude and ask, how you doing, man? I heard you've been stuck here 1,000 years. What's the plan for the Insurrection Act?
And then you go to hell, and it ends up being the hell from Little Nicky, where they were like, you know what? You're cool like us. Come live in the Infernal Palace.
Do I want to not mention how Kenny got into the Infernal Palace in the movie?
They didn't do shit to Kenny in South Park. It's like, well, because one, Satan was a fag, so of course nothing was gonna happen. You know, he wasn't that tough. It was Saddam who was in charge mainly.
I love the fact when years in one of the episodes he goes, Satan, you became a bitch.
Yo, he flat out tells him that shit.
He got this ugly little creature thing, Yoda looking thing.
I showed my mom that video and she was like, "This, you really gonna piss off your grandmother?" I was like, "Not me." I was like, "Ma, I have a soul."
Asian men don't. We just know we go somewhere. Into the void.
Oh, that's stupid.
We get sent to oblivion. Hey, I just realized something.
No, you go to the halls of Mandos.
I got a question. Do Asian lives matter? Because we're a small minority. Does that mean like when shit hits the fan?
Small minority? Hold up. I'm not trying to sound fucked up because you're Korean American. That's an exception. There would be never no they want to about population control. Fucking China is hypocrites with that. You know why
I'm here in the U.S. I'm from here in the U.S.
I'm saying, but you know why we're being overpopulated? Because Chinese women fucking reproduce like cockroaches. They don't even know. They don't make love or have sex. They just fuck. They just go in, like, one Asian man, but like the Asian woman and the Asian man be like this. They're like, "Are you ready? You ready? Yes, I already. Go out. Round 2. Go out. Round 3. Go out. Round 4."
Then they go into every single support either. They just want to create more children so they can add more to the child.
The moment the fucking and then the moment the baby comes out, they'll be like this. "You doctor yet? Just a newborn. Talk to me again when you doctor." I'm not to that family.
I'll never forget my dad. He's a doctor, and let's just say he had to deliver a patient. Okay, of course, because he got that part and worked at the hospital.
Libra just said. It said, "Oh, Libra said you're going to the Dune 3 hell."
Well, here's the funny part. You talk about population problems. I'm going to tell you a hilarious story of that. My dad had to work at the because he's a doc in IRL. Well, just say that much. He had to help deliver kids for just a little bit because it's part of your thing, probably.
You don't want to look at what Butters made. He created a transformer of Mexicans and guinea pigs.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. He gets back to go check on his patient.
Right now.
No, I meant about the story of my dad. The funny thing is he goes to check on a patient basically, and see how they're doing. And let's just say they were making more kids. He's like, "Damn it, man! You can't wait till you're out. Do it in the fucking hospital bed. You gotta see y'all in 9 months." He's like, "They're going out like rabbits." It makes me wonder, how many deportations of Chinese people are we gonna have? Before you say something about the Constitution, yes, I like my Constitution, but I'm gonna admit you, Constitution's Swiss cheese. You know how the Constitution says we have the right to bear arms? Well, why is it when I go to the damn post office it says no firearms allowed? Federal building. Yeah.
Yo, you know those things in Spencer, like in those. You ever been to Spencer Gifts or Hot Topic?
Yep.
Okay, so you know that thing that they, what is it? That you touch it and your hair goes up?
Mhm.
Like the little, that glowing ball thing that looks like electrical zaps?
Yep.
All my character has to do in this game is touch that. The lightning from that transfers and he shoots it out like Palpatine lightning.
Wait, they have a
And it's
Spencer's where you
purple.
live? Man, I haven't seen a Spencer's in years.
Dude, they still got all those stores over here.
Hot Topics kind of ate them alive.
Offline.
Bop, 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 bop.
Wait, how does Butters get 3 turns and he just shot fire out of his robotic penis?
Well, that probably didn't turn out too good for poor Butters.
A demon was found in the chest.
Fuck Butters.
Another demon vanished. Time to reap the reward.
In this game I can say fuck Butters. Shit.
Ah! I created World Battle Tribalist. The commies are after me. The space commies.
Oh, Liberate John. Oh yeah, I saw your video. Oh yeah, he destroyed Scottish again.
Really, Libra?
Libra just couldn't help it. He had to give in to his hatred.
Well, I've already given in to the inner zealot of humanity. He just hasn't needed to pop out yet. Well, I can't believe I actually really
Oh, did I kill him?
wigged people
Oh, I
out
killed
because
his
they
legs.
actually
There we go.
recognized that I was actually saying certain prayers. Now, I can't remember Psalms all that well, and the problem is I can't find my damn Bible, so I can't use it correctly. So I just improvised with basically the Reverend book, which is like the Sith Bible and the General
They're
Dynasty.
playing the most stereotypical Mexican music for this game. For this fight, actually, because Butters has. They were wondering where there's been an increase of illegal immigrant of Montequilla.
Libra, we're not saying it's not hatred, we're just saying you channeled your inner Dark Lord. And here we thought you were going to be on the light side. No, you converted. It's fine.
Oh wow, he's got medics. I have to kill the medics.
Yeah, you gotta get rid of the medics. Those are the frontline workers. There's a reason why even the military times more medics were prized. They weren't allowed to carry a damn gun.
I still find it bullshit that aluminum foil protects them from fire damage. When that is the most combustible fucking. I'm not even
That
gonna.
thing can destroy a microwave.
Yeah, so how the fuck is it gonna protect you from fire?
Repeat in the name of the
I could see it, you know what I mean? It working against electricity.
Oh yeah, did you ever watch Tosh.0?
I remember Tosh.0 back in the day. It was an old show. Yeah.
Okay. He used to show clips of the internet, like people on the internet. If it wasn't for him, a lot of memes wouldn't be born, or those internet sensations.
Yes.
It's like Comedy Central. So, tell me how he flat out does this. Wait, hold on real quick. Let me give my character some armor. There was a guy with aluminum foil on his pee-pee, shaped like a pitchfork, and said that, oh, this could protect him from the outlet, but he'll get a jolt because maybe it'll give him a hard-on. And he was like, this guy who sent me this clip wasn't very bright at all. He must have been choked with less oxygen when he came out of his mother's coop. Because then right when the dude plugs it in, he not only gets shocked, he causes a blackout. I laughed my ass off with that show because it was back before Comedy Central was PC.
I wonder, does anyone remember Attack of the Show?
Attack of the Show, yes I do.
People want to bring that back. I'm like, it won't work in today's culture. It worked back then because it just, to quote Todd, it just worked. But in a good way. It came out in a certain time of an era where that kind of comedy was good. And no one would bitch about it. But somehow South Park of all satires has managed to adapt and never change. The avatar integration is a nice feature, Kyo. Wait! Oh! The avatar on the freaking thing. You know what? I'm gonna put the Joker next time I do this game. Because I love the Platinum Joker. I'll be right back. As soon as... Because I have to go get something real quick? Other words, like 2 seconds. Basically, I gotta get some ice.
I am fighting a robotic Mexican. This is made of aluminum foil.
He's... Oh my god, that's messed up.
Well?
It's obsidian. I'm not surprised.
Okay, I'm about to say, it's fucking obsidian, Kyo. Oh god, the healing bot. What the fuck? Hmm. Can't even see what's behind the rock. This will finish Butters off. I thought I heard my name being called again.
Lieber asked what you're doing after South Park, John.
Well, after South Park on Twitch, it's Kingdom Hearts 2 for YouTube. And
What?
that's on, because that's towards your day off. Like I said, towards the weekend when it's your day off, we're doing Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh, I thought that was Friday or Saturday you were starting that shit.
Friday or Saturday, yeah.
Oh, thank God, I thought you meant today. I was like, what?
No.
I was like... I'm not sure if Libra means like after South Park streaming. But I'm ending my stream here.
No, that's what he asked, because he says, Yellow Flash getting exposed, clickbait, he's getting his. Ha!
Yellow Flash, as I called out on my last men's video, there were a lot of people that got famous off the Vignana case that are now just trying to get more clout. They'll latch on to anything they can get.
Mm-hmm.
And and I named up the very big list of YouTubers to expose. Very big list. So you might want to go look at that video, Libra, and there's a lot of people that you can look into to expose, because they have clouded on, because Star Wars girls kind of clouded on them. So you want a list of people to expose, go to the one where like at Vader's crowning Star Killer, and you'll see in that video I list off a bunch of names of hypocrites. I even call myself a hypocrite to a degree, because I know I'm a hypocrite, because when we talk about certain Star Wars, we contradict certain things. But at least we're self-aware about it, we're not defending it. We know it.
We just know where the shit comes from behind the scenes comes from, like what's included.
And what isn't. But it's also, at the same time, we also acknowledge,
Let me
in a
know
way,
if you want to chat. As a matter of fact, I don't mind bringing you into the stream Inquisition. Let me just invite you to the party chat. There's ain't nothing wrong with that.
Alright, well, I'm gonna log off on my end, so...
Wait, you're getting off? You're getting off?
No! Off stream.
Oh, off stream. I'm about to say, I'm like, I will shoot your ass.
Please don't. Grandma's already coming after me with probably a hot knife. So, I'm already probably facing testicle cutoffs like I did in the freaking... in that. I'll talk to y'all later. Talk to you later,
buddy.
Libra.
I sent you that.